Hello and welcome to the Simple Faith Podcast from the Faith Formation for Children and Youth Department at St. Catherine of Siena Church in Austin, Texas. Our goal is to offer short and simple thoughts and reflections as part of our Faith Formation program. We hope you will find them helpful. This year's theme is Living Leisurely Through the Liturgical Year. The title of today's podcast is The Greatest Show: High School Marching Band Salvation History and the Liturgical Year. I am a newly minted high school band parent. Having participated in marching band all the way through college at the University of Texas, I'm pretty well versed in the world of band. And as a former semi-professional band nerd, I admit I show up half an hour early to pick up my daughter from rehearsal, just so I can watch the band and color guard put everything together at the end of a hard night of practice. This year, their show is wrapped around the music from the movie The Greatest Showman. After several weeks of rehearsal and hearing my daughter practice her music at home, I finally listened to the soundtrack while out for a run one morning. And then as I drove to work, and over and over and over. Finally, after a few weeks of going cold turkey, I may have gotten them out of my head. The drumline leads the band onto the field with the intro to the movie's theme song, The Greatest Show. Listening to that song several days in a row while running miles and miles and turning the lyrics over in my head, I slowly got the idea that the drama and energy of the song The Greatest Show could possibly speak to our faith lives and to the whole of salvation history, especially during this time of the coronavirus pandemic and all the upheaval and uncertainty in our lives, our families, our communities, and the world. Scripture is full of images and stories of God's faithful love and magnanimous generosity. In the beginning of Genesis, we hear how God brought forth the earth and all its creatures, in fact, the whole of the universe, including women and men, from nothing. In Exodus, we follow the stories of the Israelites, who went with Moses out of Egypt through the Red Sea and the desert, from slavery to freedom. From there, we come to know of the Babylonian exile, the time when most of the Jewish people were carried off into captivity. And then the prophet Hosea tells us of God's faithful love calling God's people back to their covenanted relationship. Jeremiah, Isaiah, and the rest of the prophets wear themselves out for the sake of the story, begging those around them to be faithful to God, to return to God, to embrace again their special relationship as God's chosen people. And then in the New Testament, we have the ultimate example of God's tremendous love and commitment to that special relationship between God and humanity in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. This story, these events, this never-ending love of God, through good times, bad times, and times of resurrection, are all scenes from the greatest show. Is it flippant and trite in the face of the COVID pandemic? Is this just another trust God, have faith, it'll all be okay, or all I need is a little bit of coffee and a whole lot of Jesus? Is comparing the song The Greatest Show to God's history of presence and life among us easy to reduce to word art from Hobby Lobby? I don't think so. Why not? Because the main theme of God's greatest show is that the show is not about us as much as it is about God. God's love, creation, faithfulness, and plan for the universe that are more expansive than we will ever be able to comprehend. We don't know why God let the Jewish people be taken into slavery or exile. We can't really answer why God let Job's life fall apart. Why do natural disasters happen? Why do good people get sick and die? Why do pandemics exist and cause so much suffering? Why do bad things happen? Psalm 90 sings, 70 is the sum of our years, or 80 if we are strong. And Psalm 139 cries out, where can I go from your spirit? From your presence, where can I flee? If I ascend to the heavens, you are there. If I lie down in the netherworld, there you are. If I take the wings of dawn and dwell beyond the sea, even there your hand guides me. God's creation plan and vision are so far beyond our comprehension that even our best attempts to understand are limited by our human finiteness. So what do we do? How do we go on in the face of an uncertain future? A pandemic that doesn't seem to end, online school, joblessness, economic concerns, stress, fear, exhaustion. Well, first we look to salvation history. The Jewish people could have stayed in Egypt and not risked the arduous journey. They could have given up hope of ever returning to Jerusalem from their captivity in Babylon. Job could have renounced God, and Jonah could have refused his mission to preach repentance. The prophet Jeremiah could have stayed safely at home. Mary could have taken a pass on God's offer. Jesus could have remained a carpenter, and Peter and his friends could have just kept on fishing. But no, we take the next step. We slowly move forward, doing our best to keep our hearts intact and maintain our faith in a God of love. We cross the sea of fear. We make our way out of the desert of isolation. We wear masks and return to work and school if we can. We do our best not to renounce our faith out of despair. When we get swallowed by the whale of worry, we ask God to help get us out. When we can do so safely, we go out to others to take a word or deed of comfort and support. If God asks us to do something, we say yes. We don't just stay home and lose ourselves in our new hobbies. We dive deeper into our relationship with God, learn something new, and find ways to share it with the world around us. We don't stay in our boats, but instead, if Jesus invites, we gather up our faith and courage and try to walk to Him across the water. What does this have to do with high school marching band? Well, this year, those of us who are parents could spend our time complaining about what's not happening, what's going wrong. It's so easy to post angry complaints on the Facebook parent groups. It's tempting to say, facts be damned, I want what I want and I don't care about anyone else. After all, the Jewish people asked, but how can we sing a song of the Lord in a foreign land when their captors asked for their music? And after the Exodus, the Israelites wandering in the desert grumbled at God. Why have you brought us up from Egypt to die in the wilderness where there is no food or water? We are disgusted with this wretched food. Or we can move forward, inspired by one another as a community. As parents, of course, we grieve for all the experiences we know our kids are missing this year. And yet, I look out at the field and see the teen with whom we've been in Girl Scouts since first grade take the field as part of the snare drum line as a freshman. In the spring, she was so excited just to be assigned a bass drum. Now, due to COVID, she's been moved up to snare, which is a huge honor for a 9th grader. I see the girl who was at my daughter's table the first day of kindergarten and remember thinking how shy she seemed. Wow, did I turn out to be wrong. Now, as a member of the color guard, she throws her flag with flair and gusto, just so happy to be part of the experience. I see the young man whose father passed away in middle school standing proudly with his trombone, a freshman without his dad. I see the young woman whose struggles I only barely know step out into something completely new and different and take the field as a member of the color guard on Friday nights. I meet the directors who had to put away the show they'd dreamt of for months and write a new one to keep the kids as far apart as possible and yet still function as a marching band. I know the band booster president who is always there making sure every kid, not just her own, has a water jug when it's hot and gloves when it's cold. I meet the dads who push my daughter's keyboard and amp across the field of AstroTurf at halftime and then push it back again 10 minutes later when she's done. I get to know the juniors who started their freshman year at one high school and had to move their sophomore year to open a brand new other high school. They have chosen to set a tone of welcome and acceptance and friendship for which I am overwhelmingly grateful. It's the upperclassmen whom I haven't met and whose name I don't yet know, who said to my 9th grade daughter, her first day of in-person band class, "Wow, we've got a bassoon," and instantly made her feel accepted. Our new high school is made up of kids and families from 2 different communities on different sides of town. After just a few months, these other band parents have become my people. I love that during this time of struggle, we work together to support our children. We sign up to pass out shirts, sell merchandise at football games, and to do the daily COVID screenings before rehearsals because we are a community with a purpose. God has brought us together at this time to come together, to support one another, and to keep moving forward. The other thing we can do besides keep moving forward in the darkness and into the unknown is let the liturgical year support us. There is an old saying in Catholic religious communities, keep the rule and the rule will keep you. What does this mean? It means that if we are faithful to daily prayer, to growing in the virtues of faith, hope, and love, to living the liturgical year, then on those days and during those weeks and months when we may struggle and feel like we don't know which way to turn, those daily spiritual practices will keep us safe and sane. This year, our faith formation theme is living leisurely through the liturgical year. If you don't know what to do next, start with reading the Mass readings for each day. Celebrate upcoming All Saints' Day by learning something new about your favorite saint, or discover a new one. Mark All Souls' Day by putting out reminders of loved ones who have gone before. Find or write a special prayer of thanksgiving to recite as a family before that meal. Go out and buy new Advent candles so you're ready for that first Sunday of Advent, and then just let the Sundays and weeks of Advent carry you forward this year. Put up a Jesse tree in your home as a true reminder of how God's salvation history has brought us from creation through to the resurrection. Let the liturgical year carry you along when you're not sure what to do next. As human beings, we were created with a desire for more, a desire to keep growing and moving toward the transcendent, toward our desire for God. As the song The Greatest Show reveals, buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. It's everything you ever want. It's everything you ever need. And it's here right in front of you. This is where you want to be. Our kids want to be at band practice, or soccer, or football, or dance, or scouts, or just back in school. We want to go back to normal. The Israelites wanted a new homeland, and the Jewish people wanted to go back to theirs. Jesus wanted to do God's will. And for now, we are all called to be faithful to who God continues to call us to be, as individuals, but also as community. And the seasons and feast days of the liturgical year are here to support and strengthen us on our journey. We all have a part to play in the greatest show, the saving history of God among us, even though we may not know what it is. We don't know what God is doing right now, and we may not know for a very long time. But God's greatest show is more than we can ever imagine. During this time of struggle, reflect on, ask yourself, who is God calling you to be? And what is your place in the greatest show?